Welcome back, guys. It's the eSports Report presented by Xbox One, official console of MLG. Puckett here with Mr. X and Benson. Boys, we talked about the first two matches. Denial with a big loss to TCM. TCM with the comeback win there. And then, of course, TK struggling, but getting their round 11 victory over Rise Nation. The next match we're talking about was really one-sided on paper. We saw Optic Gaming, we saw Orbit. We figured this is a hot 3-0. You got Optic Gaming not dropping really anything except to FaZe maybe at the last tournament, a few hard points here and there to Epsilon. I was nervous for Optic after watching game number one. They drop it 228 to 171. It was the Facento show.
And this isn't even as if this was on a new DLC map either. This was Solar, a map that you've seen OG play very, very well time and time again. And it really made the whole series very interesting because coming into this, we kind of sat there yesterday and were saying, well, they underperformed a little bit at Dallas. Like, how are they going to be feeling? Can someone come in first game of OG since returning and catch them cold? And that's exactly what Orbit did. Came out with a phenomenal performance in half.
Well, Orbit played great the other night against Envy as well. So you expected them to give OG a pretty good match. Burns finishes this one 33 and 28, 18 caps and 6 defense. Wow, just an unreal game out of Burns.
And look at this. I mean, we're what, 3 minutes, 15 seconds in. Burns already 8 captures. Facento though, opening up 19 and 7. He was a slaying monster, and Maven called it out at this point. He's like, look at Karma and Formal combined. 9 and 22, 9 and 24, something like that.
And when do you usually see that out of them combined? I mean,
very rare.
Everyone, that's the thing with OG. It's like everyone is so consistent that when you get like a game like that, that's when you're able to beat them, and that's what Orbit does here in game one.
And looking through, I think the big difference was this top hard point. It kind of happened on both rotations through. In the end, though, Burns with a big game, but Facento was clearly the hero. 47 kills, 32 deaths, 5 captures. He simply got the job done, man. Not something we always expect out of Facento.
That's some big, like, where were those back in the TR days? If he's dropping those numbers with TR, then that TR team looks even more scary than they already were. That's a phenomenal performance from him in map number 1. And then you kind of look at it and you're like, all right, they'll carry it through going into game number 2.
Search, that's their strength.
Why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Game 2, not that pretty, though.
No, didn't end well.
So Optic's worst game type, you say it's search and destroy? They 6-0 you on retreat. I remember listening to Formula and seeing tweets about it afterwards. He's like, so Facento drops 47 kills game 1, 0 kills game number 2.
Yeah,
this was, like, it's not even worth calling out.
It's recovery S&D, it lasts about 4 minutes total. Like, all 6 rounds last about 4 minutes. Crim,
pretty quick game.
Scump, and Formal combined for a 22 and 3 game.
3 deaths.
So death
22 kills for those 3 players.
It's nearly 7 kills each. 7 and 1 for 3 plays. I just don't get how you can go from 47 kills and a respawn. Clearly your shot's on, you're feeling great, you're a fantastic search and destroy player, we've seen it all year long, and then not get a kill.
You can do it. You can get so hyped up after a game 1, you were just running at them, picking up tons of kills, you're fired up,
I guess.
You go into recovery, you run at them again, you don't get anything.
But I think I only remember like 1v1 happening the entire time. It's just
really?
Optic
The rounds
as a
just
team
kind of like
sliding through.
Yeah.
Here's a question. How many grenades did you see?
All of them.
Being thrown? Like a lot of grenades.
All the grenades. They always, I mean, it's recovery. You're going to see
but I mean, for
grenades on the attack
for a
side
whole
constantly.
game to last 4 minutes, like, to me, that's like, well, I'm spawnating 2 of you every single round. Like, at that point, put on a trophy set.
I don't
Do
even
something.
know if I don't even know if it's that. I mean, I didn't see the game, but I'm
Optic was in your
guessing.
base.
Right. It was
how it
kind
felt
of like
the
on
entire-
defense, Optic was just going to run over towards your spawn, and then on offense, Optic probably ran towards A. Orbit decided to just challenge them straight up at A, and they just lost.
There's a lot of mid fights as well. It was a bit surprising through that. Honestly, we were watching it from Crim's point of view, and it was done before it began. Crim at the end, he's like, what was that? It was just, they were kind of shocked.
Yeah.
I mean,
by the lack of a challenge.
That's the way we wanted to see them play S&D, though. You have this phenomenal team with great gun skill who previously have kind of played kind of scared, a little slow paced. Just run at teams. Like, it will work, and you can see it there. 6-0 win on recovery S&D. Like, that's a dominant performance.
Good S&D from Optic in Game 2. Game 3, it was once again Orbit back in the lead during a respawn at the half. It was 4-0 in favor of Orbit. They were playing from the easier side. Maeve and I were talking about, we were saying, it seems more and more teams are struggling to score, having to go through snow to get to that back uplink. Instead, they prefer to do it by the gas canisters and a lot of one-point tosses.
So many easy one-point throws.
Orbit was looking pretty good. Optic was held every time they had a fast break. Orbit shut them down. It was like one last player alive, able to get the clutch kills. Side number 2, though, this was just total domination by Optic. They went on to tack on 10 straight kills over their opponents, and I was just really impressed by the way that Optic was controlling the map. Big kills from everyone, and Krim was definitely making some strong play calls. Lots of time you saw confidence plays where there'd be 1 or 2 opponents over at green, and Optic would just run it straight at them.
Yeah, and that's when they play their best. Like you were saying, Ben, maybe just have to kind of change up the pace in S&D from time to time. Sometimes play aggressive, sometimes play slow, kind of mix it in there. But in uplink and hardpoint, really, when they just start to heat up and they start to run at you and just force those engagements, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, there's nothing a lot of teams can do about it. I mean, Orbit, you would need great games out of, Happy, Accuracy, Vicento, pretty much
basically everyone.
Pretty
Your
much
whole team.
everybody. I mean, you can afford one player to kind of play that more OBJ-minded role, but to beat them so hard consistently to get all 4 players on your own team to slay with those guys.
It's pretty tough to take down Optic Gaming in a respawn. Impressive stuff from top to bottom. Here's one of the plays that came from Karma real quick, as you guys can take a look. Optic right away, first 20 seconds, able to get control. They put in the first one at 45 seconds. 4 down. You think Orbit's going to be able to return fire. Optic was just winning kind of the gunfights from the very beginning. I was impressed, though. Look at the numbers going into this second side. They were outslaying Optic again. You have Happy at 17 and 11, Ficento's +1, 21 and 15. Burns was kind of the monster that they needed Burns to be throughout this series. I think we've been all kind of highlighting him recently, talking about how much he's improved his gameplay since Ghost. But in the end, Optic was just able to totally outslay them. I'll skip ahead and just show you the final numbers here. But this was the route they took every time. Get the players down, run it through, dunk it in. You saw it from Formal, you saw it from Scump. Crim 6 leading a lot of those charges with the bow.
I mean, Karma and Formal both combined for 4 uplinks each, 8 overall, which you compare that to that hard point where they were both struggling.
Yeah,
right.
They massively stepped things up in respawn, which is kind of the performance you expect. And there's a quick brief look at that scoreboard that you
think?
Just
there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
31 kills, 22 deaths for Scump. Everyone else in OG just kind of doing that role that they need to do. As we mentioned, the uplinks at the bottom there. Krim also with 2. Over at Orbit, accuracy, 17 and 26. That seems to be the common theme whenever a team plays Optic Gaming. If one person struggles, you're going to lose. It is that simple.
So Burns goes positive in Game 1. He goes positive off host in Game 3. Pretty strong play out of Burns against Optic Gaming throughout the series. Game 4, though, didn't matter what Burns could do. They got outslayed by 21 kills. Optic Gaming just steamrolls them through the hard point. 250, 158. This one wasn't even worth talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Karma goes 37 and 24, 7 caps. I mean, nothing really much you can talk about in that game, kind of a blowout. Orbit, I do like them as a squad, though. They can figure out to get everybody kind of clicking consistently. That's the thing with them. It's like consistency. It's like, can they do it on a night-to-night basis? We see them like put a great performance together against Envy, and then they look great in map 1, and then the rest of the series it's just kind of a huge drop-off. I mean, a 6-0
the S&D,
a 10-4 loss
right
in
there, like,
uplink, and then a 250 to 158. I mean, those games aren't that close. If Orbit can put together some consistent games back-to-back like they did against Envy, I mean, they can compete against a team like OG, I think.
They just need to win the Search and Destroy. It is that simple. They should not be losing 6-0.
And I was looking at kind of the stats from our friends over at CompCod Stats yesterday. You got 3 players who are below 50% mark in KD overall, so I think it's pretty similar to Team Caliber. You're just not getting enough kills out of the team. The one player that is positive KD overall is going to be Happy. He's in the top 30 percentile. Everyone else kind of in that bottom half. So if Burns keeps playing like this, Orbit has potential. If the team keeps playing like they did against Envy, Orbit has potential. But just as easily as I can see them succeeding in the Pro League, I could see them bombing out and finishing in our bottom 4.
And that's a scary thing.
Yeah, I mean, they have explosive players. I mean, Happy is going to be consistent, with the AR or the SMG. I mean, he's a very talented player. And then you look at the other guys. I mean, Burns, he can go off any game. I mean, same with Vicento. I mean, you saw it in Game 1. And then Accuracy has put together some really nice games as well. So you just need to figure out, instead of, like, all those guys either, like, bust or just kind of, like, go ham, you need them to just kind of go in the middle area and let Happy kind of be the one who picks up most of those kills.
All right, Optic Gaming, as expected, 6-0 on the Pro League season. They hold on to that #1 spot. Up next, though, we had FaZe, who was challenging for the #2 spot after Denial's loss. FaZe looking to move up in the rankings. They had to face off against Envy. This was what we thought would be the closest match of the night. Envy and FaZe, big name teams. Envy not with the best UMG Dallas performance, but looking pretty strong throughout Pro League despite their Game 5 loss to Orbit earlier in the week. And it all started off with Envy looking fantastic in game #1. They were up massive after the first 5 minutes, dominating the hard point on Detroit. But FaZe, they caught fire after the first 5. The whole second side was dominated by FaZe, and you can see here, final minute, Envy still with the lead, but FaZe is able to break in. It's attached on the 3 streak that clears the hard point, and from here, all they had to do was keep Envy out.
Here's the difference between this FaZe lineup and then the old Denial lineup, is that when you had the old Denial lineup and Clay was 29 and 30, they would not win.
Right. you could almost look at that scoreboard and say, guarantee they lose.
Right, yeah. Now you see, Clay doesn't have to go crazy every game. It means Zuma and Attach go big in this one. And FaZe still, right now, at this moment in time, the most dominant hardpoint team in the game.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is this is the first hardpoint game this season where they've been outslayed. And they still managed to get that win.
Interesting. So, FaZe coming off UMG Dallas, they were undefeated in hardpoint and S&D. So they keep that going into the Pro League now. Just some amazing plays out of Attach and Zuma in that one.
I just had to pull up like a few of the stats from midway through this game just to really let this sink in on how bad Envy blew this game. 130 to 39 at the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, that's painful.
You had 15 and 8 out of JCap, 13 and 7 out of Aqua, 13 and 7 out of Octane, and Looney was even.
In the last 6 minutes, they get what, 76 points, right?
Pretty impressive stuff. A fantastic comeback by FaZe. They steal game #1, but that was just the beginning of a painful night for Envy. Game #2, they go up as well. I believe it was a 4-2 lead at one point. From there, FaZe wins 4 rounds in a row, including this round 10. That was simply... I'll just let you guys watch this.
This is going to be round number 10 here.
Last 2 here. 2 versus 3. Zuma answers, though. It's going to be 2 versus 2. Attach tries to hit a silly snipe. Zuma responds to that one as well. All of a sudden, we're in a 1v1. Who can clutch it here? It's Looney's turn to try and
He
be
did
the
not
man
just do what I think he just did he?
And I apparently was not paying attention to the
Tell me
clock
that didn't just
whatsoever.
happen.
Maven gets so confused right here. He's like, the game ended. Did he defuse it? I was like, no, dude, the bomb's not even down. We're good.
He fell off the map to give Zuma a 1v3.
Here's Zuma, how starts the 1v3, starts it off with the 2-piece, right? Full red. Looney needs 1 bullet in him. And then Looney just...
Did Looney have a sniper rifle or something, or what was he?
He just dipped off. I have no idea. We couldn't even get to him in time before he jumped off the map. A 1v1 clutch.
I saw this is at, was it Champs, I believe. There was one player who was scoped in with the sniper rifle and was strafing with it, and then just ended up walking off the map. That could easily happen on a map like BioLab, especially in the position he was playing.
No, don't try and justify it.
Oh,
don't try and justify that.
No,
Mr. King of you should never fall off.
No,
what was the famous Mr. X quote about if you fall off the map?
Oh, bring your console back. Give it to somebody more responsible to use it.
There you go.
You fall off
Thank
the map.
you.
But I mean, I guess that's the one way it would happen.
That's to give FaZe the win. How are you so unaware of your surroundings in a 1v1 situation that you fall off the map?
Clayster was just laughing.
Pressure's on.
He's just like, what? Did that just happen? Yeah, Looney fell off the map. Game 1 by Envy. By FaZe. So now a 2-0 lead for FaZe. You go to game 3. You think this is going to be a dominant finish. Envy holds on. It wasn't easy, though. There was 2 major mistakes in Game 3 by FaZe. The first one started playing from the better side. FaZe unable to gain control of top Parliament. You know that area where the drone respawns. It seems whoever has the stronger bow always wins this map up top. You look at FaZe, and they had 3 really strong bows out on this map, but it was Envy able to get there, gets a toss-off. Attach catches it for the interception. They're holding the lead. Attach doesn't clear it off. He just throws it straight in front of him, gets killed, a dunk comes in. So that keeps the game close, right? Overtime happens here, and we'll show you the end of this game. This is overtime. FaZe was able to convert a 1-point toss in the first 47 seconds, I believe it was. So now you have Envy against the clock, and it happens again.
And Octane just crushes this game. I mean, the guy just goes off. This is a recurring issue for FaZe, though. I mean, they're undefeated
There's the toss. Clayster saving the day.
Wait, and he just does the
tosses it
same
in
thing
front
again?
of himself so he can keep slaying.
Oh,
Aqua
no.
gets the two-piece. They
Why would
drop
you-
in. Looney giving him the moves. He gets taken down. We think FaZe is still in it, and then you see Octane able to jump it in.
It's almost like you just didn't learn from the first mistake. I understand the game plan. Obviously, you're trying to slay out, you're in OT, you get that first wave of kills, you have the drone, you basically win the game. But against a team like Envy, who've been so good in the league at uplink, you make one small mistake like that, they are going to pounce, and they're going to take that.
And FaZe, that's their only weakness, is uplink. I mean, at UMG, they go undefeated in hardpoint, undefeated in S&D. They've been dominant in those two game modes so far in Season 3. I mean, they kind of give away this uplink.
So big mistakes from FaZe. I think they will learn anytime that they get an interception. Look to your right, look behind you, toss it off the map. Throwing it forward. Came back and bit him twice. Good clutch, though, by Envy. As you said, Octane, kind of a really big game for him throughout this one. Finishes 37 kills, a 1.68 KD overall. You see that there.
He loves that map, too. Last time he played it, dropped 42, which is a league record. So he's adapted very, very well to the new DLC maps.
This is Octane's map, man. I like watching him on Parliament.
He's just a phenomenal uplink player. The guy just drops so many kills. He just makes it so easy for the rest of the team.
It's a great AR map.
So
you'd expect him to be good at
right.
it.
Now you come into game number 4. FaZe losing their momentum. Envy with the momentum. But you're playing FaZe in a hard point. FaZe has won 14 straight hard points, LAN and Pro League combined, since the start of Season 3. And honestly, for Envy, this is the worst map possible to play FaZe on. They are 6-0 on Solar since the start of Season 3.
And every time I've seen FaZe play this, Zuma has a great game. I mean, whether it's with a sub or an AR, he has played so good here in Season 3. I mean, you can make an argument he's been their MVP for Season 3. I mean, Zuma's put up
he's been so consistent.
I argued he was a top 4 player last night.
Yeah,
And I stand by that. I think he has been playing lights out Call of Duty. If you look at really the last
if you look over the last
Season
2 to 3
only.
months, over the last 2 to 3 months, I think you have a great argument for that.
I mean, we're talking about him being one of the best. Last night, thanks to this game, he drops another season record. 53 kills. That is absurd.
And
53 kills.
Maven and I called it out. We were like, guys, we love you. I know if you're an Envy fan, you're probably going to hate us, but how can you stop watching Zuma when he's picking up a minimum of 2 kills per life?
So 53 kills in this game, and then you say, probably wasn't doing that much of the OBJ. I mean, you see right there the stats on your screen. He had 11 caps at the time. Finishes with 16 caps, 6 defends, and I'm going to say this correctly, finishes with a 10,050 score. Just unreal.
He broke the scoreboard. It doesn't go past 10,000. He put up 10,050.
Good. If you had him on your Vulcan team and he was your shot caller, you're laughing straight to the bank with that performance.
And when have you seen his Slayer rating this high? For Pro League, he's dropping an average of
43.67.
Oh, I'm telling you, over the last, it goes all the way back to X Games. I mean, FaZe loses X Games.
Ridiculous.
FaZe loses X Games against Optic, but in that final against them, I mean, he plays great. I mean, he has a very good series. He's always played pretty good against Optic, and if you can play good against them, you can pretty much play good against everybody, right? I mean, you see the numbers right there.
Look at his performance against Optic Gaming, a 1.7 KD, a 51 slay rate. That's
just stupid.
That's at LAN. Then he goes up against Team Envious and a 1.56, 53
that was
slay
on
rating.
Solar again. So those stats, the 51 Slayer rating and the 1.7 are just from the Solar against
They're
Optic,
comparable.
Still,
And then Season 3 Pro League as a whole, a 1.28 and a 43.67 slay rating. I mean, we talked about how we expected slay rating to go up with no CTF this season. Obviously, no respawn delay, or as big as a respawn delay. That's just silly numbers. Like, no one should be running around picking up that many kills.
So, Envy started off well. Things went real wrong for you. Honestly, though, if you look at the first 2 maps, Envy up 4-2 in Search. Should have won that game. They fall off the map, lose it there. Game number 1, though, over 100 points. I think it was like 111 at one point in favor of Envious, dropping it to FaZe in the last minute, attached with a 3-piece, clearing out everyone from school. This was Envy's match to win, and they just let it slip through their fingers. FaZe clutches up, and now they advance to 4-1. Let's take a look at our overall stats here, guys. This is how it all shakes out after halfway through in Week 3. We see Optic Gaming sitting atop at 6-0. 75% of their games they have won. FaZe tied with Denial, and look how tight these two teams are. I think it's just one game, maybe a game and a loss that separates these two squads. 71% to 70%. And then there's a massive drop-off, in my opinion, in terms of just strength of teams. Optic Nation at 4th right now. How long can they hold on? Envy 3-3 has blown 2 big leads so far in this week. Should have beat Orbit potentially in that game 5 earlier in the week, and then losing the game to FaZe yesterday. I'm a little bit worried for Envy. I think they should be able to bounce back, finish in our top 5, currently holding down that 5th spot. But these are the teams you should be worried about. 7 through 12 is where it gets really messy, boys.
Yeah, especially the bottom. Epsilon still looking for that win. 0-5. They're in action later tonight. I mean, it's a big day for them. It really is. And of course, you know, TK and Rise Nation, that was a big game yesterday to kind of decide who can get a leg up above one another.
And I know Epsilon 0-5, but I mean, you know, the Rise win, I believe that is against Epsilon.
Yeah,
correct?
It is. Yeah.
And then TK, their wins come
against Rise.
One against Rise, which Rise had to play 3v4.
Yep.
The first 2 maps.
The 3v4 Rise
then,
beating.
I believe their other game comes against Orbit. I believe their other win comes against Orbit. I mean, how strong is those bottom 3 teams? I mean, you can make an argument. I mean, Epsilon 0-5 is like right close, and you know, skill-wise, right near those teams.
I mean, it's just so bizarre that you see them play so well at Dallas, then they come home and they just can't get a win. They can't buy a win.
It's the map win percentages that I look at here, and Rise is the weakest of your teams. The one squad I think we're going to see a resurgence in on this sheet might be Elevate.
I was just going to say that as well.
I think you also see a stronger isolation now with Parasite on the roster, at least if he can keep playing like he did in their first series. And then TCM, they showed us some life, but they're having to go to Game 5s to lock things up. TCM still needs to figure out their hard point game.
I think TCM, though, the thing that kind of goes in their favor, they have 2 guys playing in that team house. Internet there is very good. You're going to have some pretty good games out of Moose and Jerd all the time, right? I mean, the teamwork, you can only really say gets better. I think you look at that bottom, I think Elevate, definitely a team that can make a pretty strong comeback. And then out of the teams in the top 8 right now, I mean, you look at ON, what happens there? Orbit, we've seen them lose some heartbreakers. Can they beat the top teams consistently? Because, you know, eventually, obviously, you're going to have to play through everybody. They're going to play against, you know, OG, FaZe, Denial. They're going to have one week where they maybe lose like 3 or 4 games. And that's going to be a tough one. It's going to how you weather the storm, so to speak.
We're about 6 games out of your 22 through for most of the teams. The teams that haven't played as many will get a chance tonight, including Optic Nation, TCM, and Isolation, a few of the squads we expect to rise up in our rankings. We're going to commercial break. When we come back, though, we'll preview our matches that are going down this evening, starting with the big one. Denial takes on FaZe.